Hello friends, welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm Becky. I'm an artist who does animal and floral paintings and colored pencil work. This is the second video that I have made about my very first collection of paintings that I've started, and that is my small 8x10 bird paintings. And you can see one here and here. These are the first two that I've painted, and in my last video, which you can go back and watch if you want to, we painted this blue jay. And today I'm going to be painting my third painting in this collection, and I've decided that I'm going to do a robin. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to chat with you while I paint, and you guys can just watch, or you can paint along with me if you want to get out your supplies and have some fun. You don't have to paint the same thing I'm painting. If you want to paint a different bird or your own creative piece of art, go ahead and come and paint along with me. I'm doing a voiceover for this part of the video. It's really difficult for me to paint and talk and record at the same time. And I really like to concentrate when I'm painting, really focus in on what I'm doing and put all distractions aside. This painting took me about 2.5 hours. I feel like that's kind of a long time for a small 8x10 painting. But like I've said before, I am a totally self-taught artist, so I don't really know what is average, or even if I am painting correctly, if there is a such thing. But I do what works for me. I'm gonna speed up the video in just a minute here. So if you are painting along with me, you can pause the video or just play it back slower, but I didn't want this video to drag on forever. It felt a little bit strange painting a robin because today is supposed to be our first big snowfall of this year, and robins are such a spring subject to paint. But I'm trying to paint birds that have some meaning in my life, and robins bring back a lot of good memories for me. Robins have always symbolized the beginning of springtime, and ever since I was a little girl, I can remember running to the window and looking for the first robin. Right when the flowers are first starting to come out and you're really like tired of winter and anticipating springtime. And my mom always told me, when you see a robin, it means that spring is finally here. And so we would always run to the window, and when we saw that first robin of the year, it was so exciting, and we would start screaming, "Look, a robin, spring's finally here." And then that is something that I always did with my kids too, as they were growing up. So now I'm starting to put in all the different layers on the chest of the bird. I used a lot of different colors, working from dark to light, to get all of the shadow and highlights and all the little feathers in there. This was definitely the part of the painting that took the longest, and that I kept second guessing, going back and changing and adding more. But in a minute here, you will see that I start adding the light colors on top of the dark. And here I am starting to add some of those lighter mid-tones to the legs and near the neck. And then I'm going to go in and use my lightest colors for the highlights on top of that, and for all of the little details, making the fur and feathers and all of that with my lightest colors. I'm sorry, it gets a little bit blurry here for a minute. I didn't realize that my camera is set to autofocus and focuses on my hand, but I wanted to zoom up every now and then so that you guys can see closer what I'm doing. And here I am with my lightest color. I'm using a brighter yellow to make some of those details. So I am still working at my dining room table, as I have been for the last couple of years. And I made a video a couple of weeks ago with some tips about working in a small space, or if you do not have a studio, and you can go back and watch that video if you'd like. But I do have some really exciting news. We have been currently working on redoing our basement, and we've decided that a corner of the basement is going to be mine for all of my art related stuff and a space for me to paint. So I am just so excited about that. You guys don't even know how excited I am to get that all set up and decorated and move all my stuff down there. And that will be an upcoming video, because I do want to show you guys the setup of that and what it looks like and where my new space is going to be. And I am thrilled to finally have a space of my own. It's not a studio, not a room. It's shared with the rest of the family. The rest of the room is just going to be an entertainment game room, but at least I have my own corner. So I'm going to be setting that up here in the next couple of weeks, and I can't wait to show you guys. Okay, so I switched to my tiny detail brush now, and I'm going in and putting a little bit of detail on those wings and tail feathers and on the face. And I'm putting gray over top of the black for some of those little details and feathers in the black areas. I hope it doesn't drive any of you crazy that I'm kind of all over the place. That's just how I paint. I can't focus on one area for very long. I move from the legs to the beak to the eye and then back and forth from one to the other. That's just how I've always painted. Maybe I just have a short attention span. So last night I was trying to think about what other birds that I'm going to paint, and I'm really drawing a blank. I'm not sure. I want to keep it to small birds. Nothing big like an owl or anything like that. I want to keep it to small birds that you see in your backyard. If any of you have any ideas, I know I asked in the last video for suggestions, and I'm going to do that again. So if you have any suggestions on which birds I should paint next in this series, drop a comment below and let me know. And one idea that I had was to use my Wingspan board game as kind of inspiration. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that board game, but that is one of my most favorite board games. And it's all about birds, and there are just hundreds of beautiful bird cards. And I think I'm going to look through those and see if that gives me some ideas. But board game art is really fascinating to me. I love playing board games, and I love collecting them. And my favorite thing about board games is the artwork. And there are so many board games with just beautiful, beautiful art. And I would love to illustrate a board game someday. if I ever have that opportunity. But yeah, this is not sponsored or anything. It's just one of my favorite things. So if you like to play games and you like birds and you love beautiful art, you might want to check it out, and it would make a fantastic Christmas gift too. I just finished using my white to put all of those little spots in on the head and underneath of his beak and around the eye. And now I'm just touching up some of the spots on the wings and the tail with my black. So I'm just kind of going back and forth. And the feet here. Oh my goodness, you guys, the feet. I do not like painting bird feet. And this foot here on the right was the worst thing I've ever painted, I'm pretty sure. I painted this leg and foot and it was so long. Look at how crazy it looks. It is not proportioned right. And so I painted that foot, and then I started to paint the branch, and I was trying to make the branch thicker and thicker so that the foot wouldn't look as weird being so long. And then I ended up just painting right over the right foot with the branch, and decided that I would go back later and repaint the foot and make it shorter so that it didn't look so awkward. And now starts the fun part, the background. I have been doing the background last lately because for a while I was doing the background first and painting over it, and then the colors would show through onto my animal, and it just wasn't working. So now I go in and I do the background last. I have been doing these abstract backgrounds for all of my animal paintings for quite a while, and this is just my style now. And I love to use stencils and different things I find around the house to make marks. And here I'm using bubble wrap. I started using bubble wrap a few months back, and I love the way that the bubble wrap marks look on my paintings. And so I'm going to do bubble wrap in 3 different colors. I did red, and then I decided to do black because of the black in the bird. And then you will notice a reoccurring theme here in all of my bird painting series, that there is gold in the background. So gold is one of the elements that I am adding into all of these paintings. And here are my little plants. I'm not quite sure what kind of plant or leaf this is, but you will also notice this same plant in my other 2 bird paintings. So the gold paint and these leaves are what kind of tie all of my bird paintings together. Last, I decided to add a little bit of bright red to his body to match the background. Okay guys, this is our finished robin painting. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. You might notice that I made a few changes. It looks a little bit different from where I stopped filming because after I was done recording, I took a good look at it and I'm like, something just doesn't quite look right on his like chest area. And so I went back and I fixed this area in here. You'll notice there's a lot more of these little feather areas, and it's a little bit more orange. But that is the awesome thing about acrylic painting of any kind, is there are no mistakes. Nothing is ever permanent, because with paint, you can always fix, you can always correct, you can always change. And so if you step back and look at your painting and you're like, something's off, you can always paint over it, you can always add more, and you can always fix the mistakes that you make when you're painting if you want to change something. So I love that so much about paint. I also changed this entire branch. I had a big, thick, fat branch, and I just did not like how that branch looked. It didn't match my other bird paintings that have thin branches. And so I painted over this entire thing again. I fixed his leg and I made a thinner branch, and then I repainted the bottom. But I'm really happy with the end result and how it turned out. I love the colors. It reminds me of red, white, and blue, kind of American theme, which is what I'm going for, American birds. So yeah, I love it. I'm really happy with it. I thank you guys so much for watching and for painting along with me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have not subscribed yet, then it would mean the world to me if you would hit the subscribe button. I thank you so much, and I can't wait to paint my next bird, and I will see you all then in the next video. Bye-bye.